We've just seen the new sex, so you might be tempted to think of Madonna as the sex original. She has pushed every boundary and lots of buttons along with it. So has superstardom slowed her down at all? As Cynthia McFadden found out, Madonna is just getting started.
She's the world's top-selling female recording artist of all time. With hits like Vogue and Like a Virgin. For 3 decades, Madonna has never held back from expressing herself. It's no secret Madonna is the original pinup girl for outrageous behavior. Love her, hate her, she is tireless.
Nice to see you here. Nice to see you.
Launching 3 massive projects all at once.
Fancy meeting you here.
Exactly. We just stumbled into this beautiful room.
We picked this room, the Royal Suite at New York's Waldorf Astoria, because Madonna wants to talk about her latest passion, her new film about the Duke and Duchess of Windsor.
They actually stayed in this set of rooms.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's her directorial baby called W.E., poised to open on February 3rd.
David, let's stop all this talk about marriage. It frightens me, and I can't see any good coming of it.
An unbridled romance between King Edward VIII and an American divorcee, Wallis Simpson. Their romance ultimately shook Britain to its core.
Then I'll give up the throne.
And I will be the most despised woman in the world.
And she was. Forced to choose between the throne and the woman he loved, Edward chose Wallis, abdicating in 1936.
I now quit altogether public affairs, and I lay down my burden.
Do you end up liking Wallis Simpson? Or?
I love her. I see her as a human being, her ability to survive against all odds. Get a life. And also I think she was deeply misunderstood by people, and I think, you know, obviously I can relate to that.
Madonna always surprises, and the film is no exception.
The great discovery that I made whilst doing this research is that there is no such thing as perfect love, and I obviously know that in the back of my head. I'm not an idiot.
I have no idea.
Inside one of the greatest love affairs of all time, Madonna reveals a painful truth.
She felt trapped. Yeah. I mean, think about it. If a man gives up being king for you, then you have to spend the rest of your life making him feel like a king. She felt imprisoned.
Have you ever been loved like that?
I don't know. That's a hard question to answer because I've never fallen in love with a king. I've certainly fallen in love with people who were willing to make big sacrifices for me, possibly not as big as I would have liked them to make. And I've made very big sacrifices for people that I've loved.
You're a romantic.
I am. Sorry.
Still, after all these years.
Why not?
Speaking of all these years, Madonna and I have our own history, nearly a decade's worth. From our first interview in Los Angeles to the one at her home in New York.
I'm being held prisoner by hair and makeup artist.
All right.
We last met in the south of France.
Come on, Cynthia, join me. There's a disco downstairs. Look at this.
She was about to turn the big 5-0.
Yeah, you, I'm 50.
This time we thought we might jump right over age.
We'll skip the age stuff.
Yeah, boring
It's not that
subject.
I don't wanna
already
own
know
it.
how old I am, and I own it.
Well, you're famously dating younger men.
Aren't people tired of that subject?
No.
His name is Brahim Zaibet, a 24-year-old French dancer.
I just met someone that I cared for, and this happens to be his age.
And what's appealing about him?
I don't feel comfortable with this conversation.
What are you looking for?
Talk about Wallis Simpson.
We'll talk about Wallis Simpson.
So how is her new relationship going?
I'm the easy one.
I believe you, millions won't. Are you the easy one?
No, I don't know. I mean, I go home and I wash my face and I put on my sweatpants and I lay down on the bed and I say, oh, please rub my feet. And, you know, and he says, no, you rub my feet. So, you know, behind the curtain, I'm just like everybody else.
Really? The material girl is like everyone else? Remember erotica?
Let's talk about celebrity a little bit.
Okay, goody, my favorite subject.
Well, you're an expert on celebrity.
Am I? Wow. That's a sign.
What's it a sign of?
I don't know, maybe the Duchess is in this room right now.
Yeah,
Maybe
she's angry at us.
she doesn't like the subject.
Of love or celebrity?
3 minutes later, the light was fixed.
Did you set out to be famous?
Hell no. Fame kind of came and smacked me in the face, and I set out to be a dancer, and then I set out to be a singer and a songwriter.
Cut! And now a director. When we come back,
They want to know what you think about Lady Gaga.
your number one question for the queen of pop.
Is that good?
Look it up.
When 2020's Ask Madonna continues. This is the first time in 30 years Madonna has ever allowed cameras into a recording studio.
I know it's not cool to be happy, but I think it is. It's actually really cool to be uncool.
And you're getting an exclusive sneak peek of her new single, a duet with rapper MIA. The album called MDNA is out in March.
Happy birthday!
And there'll be a lot more music to come. She's just signed a lucrative new music deal.
$40 million.
Is that how
Are
much?
you buying lunch?
Cynthia, I think we've passed lunch. I think we've passed dinner.
Madonna is also the halftime entertainment at this year's Super Bowl, a controversial decision.
So what's more frightening, having the movie open or performing live at the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl, for sure. I have 8 minutes to set up my stage, 12 minutes to put on the greatest show on earth, and I have 7 minutes to take it down. And that's the challenge. How do you do that?
Jump out of a plane or no?
No, there's a roof on the stadium. It'd be painful. I actually wanted to have 100 drummers come from the ceiling.
I like it.
It's cool, right?
Yeah? Madonna wouldn't tell me exactly what she's planning.
What's happening now?
I have 250 dancers waiting for me right now.
The day we talked, she was holding a massive audition. Before she left, she agreed to answer some viewer questions.
What is
These
that?
are the questions that
Oh,
people
God.
wrote in. What was the last meal you cooked entirely by yourself?
I don't think I've ever cooked a meal entirely by myself.
Ever?
My nannies cook, my housekeeper cooks.
Do you cook anything?
No, but I do everything else.
Do you miss being married?
Certain parts of it, yeah.
What parts?
Just feeling like a part of a family unit, not having to make all the decisions on my own.
Which would you despise the most? A world without music, a world without sex, or a world full of hydrangeas?
A world without sex. Because when you're making love to someone, it's like music.
That's nice.
Yep, as long as there's no hydrangeas in the room.
So, of all of these, there's one question that almost blew up the internet.
Oh.
They want to know what you think about Lady Gaga. And do you feel she's copying you?
I certainly think she references me a lot in her work. Sometimes I think it's amusing and flattering and well done. I can't really be annoyed by it or insulted by it because obviously I've influenced her.
It doesn't feel like a ripoff.
No, because she's she and I'm me.
Would you ever do a duet with her?
It hasn't occurred to me, but never say never.
And when you saw Born This Way, did you think?
When I heard it on the radio. Yes, I did. I said, that sounds very familiar. Yes.
Some argue Born This Way sounds a little too much like Madonna's Express Yourself.
And that doesn't feel annoying.
It feels reductive.
Is that good?
Look it up.
We did. It means simplified or crude.
That was a good answer.